Hey, Made to Shine fam. Welcome post holidays 2026. And I have a friend on with us today. Hey, babe.
Just for a short time.
I know he's not going to stay with us the whole time. What did you just say about my hair?
It's all over the place.
I am shedding. Well, I'm in my shedding season, but also look how short my ponytail is. I still though, one of my nervous hacks is I twist my hair when I'm like, gotta go, gotta get stuff done, and I think it contributes to the shed.
Well, I'm just copying off of your last episode on the wifey chop.
I did get a wipe chop.
I know. So it looks great.
You think so?
Mm,
Really? I'm not fishing for compliments or anything, but you think it really looks good?
of course.
I have not had my hair this short since circa, I think when I came out of the womb. And I slowly started growing it out, and it had to have been this short at some point when I was in between womb period and long hair period. So it's nice to be back. It's very light, but it feels weird because I go to twist my hair and there's nothing here. So then I'm like, oh, there it is. And then when I go like this, it gets everywhere. And then my husband comes in and it's like, your hair is everywhere. Naturally. Where did we just come back from, babe? Vacation.
Vacation. Punta Cana.
Punta Cana.
And Chicago.
Happy 2026, Punta Cana and Chicago. We did. This is what I get for recording during a work day. Someone's trying to huddle me. Oh. Is that going to go away? Okay. I think I'm going to keep this on. I'm going to keep this on because my word of the year is integrity. And I am recording this during the workday, and someone was just trying to slack huddle me, but I will slack huddle him back later. We were in Punta Cana, well, Chicago Bainbridge for a wedding, which is South Georgia, super South Georgia, then Chicago, then Punta Cana, lots of traveling. What did you learn about yourself in the past 2.5 weeks, Hunter?
I learned that I let's see. You didn't give me this to prep.
I did it. I never do. My podcast guests don't have time to prep, so you don't either.
Okay. Well, I learned not something necessarily about myself, but I'm working on my response to things that
Yeah?
that I don't necessarily agree
We love that for you and for myself. What do you not agree with?
with. You're fishing.
Everything that I do.
That's not true.
What would you say are the biggest things you disagree with in the way that I live my life and you live yours?
You go very fast. I think things through and go very slow.
I think things through. Just because you move fast doesn't mean you don't think something through.
Yes, that's the biggest one.
That is a fantastic piece of awareness you have in our relationship. I would wholeheartedly agree. Except I've been slowing down a good amount.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so you've learned that you need to work on that.
No, I said
Oh.
I'm slowing down my
that.
response to things that I don't necessarily agree with.
That's what you learned about yourself?
That's what I'm working on.
No, I said, what did you learn about yourself? That you need to do
Learned
that?
that I instantly respond like that on something I don't necessarily agree with.
So you respond fast without thinking things through.
Correct.
Which is very contradictory to what you're judging the other person for doing, which is moving fast and not thinking things.
Judging. See what I deal with you.
I think that's fantastic. No, I really do. I think that is so great, and I am here for it. I also learned a lot about myself.
Like what?
I learned that I uh can eat fruit and it doesn't mess up my digestive system.
Sick.
Basic. I have not eaten fruit in like
That's true.
months. I've not eaten raw fruit in like how many months? Since our wedding, because I was looking at a podcast one time and it said that like if you have leaky gut, you shouldn't be eating raw fruits and vegetables. So I've only been eating like cooked vegetables. I have not had any fruits.
Yeah, fruits are fun. I thought it was just because you had too many grapes that one time.
I did. I was obsessed with grapes
And
and this one.
blueberries.
I'm actually allergic to blueberries
Oh, yeah.
though, which we found out. So that's weird. Fun fact about me, I learned this last year. I'm allergic to blueberries. So when I was going through all this back pain and I was eating about a carton of blueberries a day because hello, antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, I was like, I'm basically eating my own anti-inflammatory Advil over here, but it's way better for you. Fast forward, found out I'm allergic to blueberries and it was causing a lot of my back pain. So blueberries are out for me, but what's in is now fruit. I can have fruit, which is great. Well, thank you, Hunter, for being here.
Enjoy being in the Word.
And thank you for sharing with us what you learned about yourself. I love you. All right, folks. We are 6 minutes and 37 seconds in. Have a good walk. So it's been a while. We really did. We had such a good time. We were in Chicago and then went to Punta Cana. I will say, coming back from this trip, this might sound so corny, but I have never been more proud of myself in my life for like, this was like the packing Olympics for me. It was because we went to Bainbridge and then, which was for a wedding and warm weather. And then we went to Chicago, which was like, for me, cold. And then we went to Punta Cana. And I also am like, I'll have to put this in the episode somehow, a picture of all my supplements. Y'all, I'm not kidding. I have like 10 different supplements I take in the morning and about 4 I take at night. Not including like the glutathione I take, the vitamin C I take, the melatonin I take. Like I take so many supplements and I'm very, very committed to my supplements. And so I was like, okay, 2 weeks worth of supplements. If I take a whole container of each of the supplements, that will be my entire bag. So I actually did. I had a supplement suitcase. And I found though these little like packs that were really great. And there was like, I mean, they've been around for a while, but like Monday, Tuesday, like pill packs. But we're calling them our supplement packs. And I did. I popped those supplement pills up in there and there was 2 cases of them. And it worked out, but it was I felt so accomplished for just like making that happen. And I had my heating pads and my red light therapy, and I looked like one of those granola people at the airport. I mean, just with my red light therapy and my heating pads and my Voltaren and my Epsom salt scrub and rub and just all the stuff. But we made it work. We made it work. But I'm excited to be back. This is the first episode I filmed in 2026. And so I'm very excited to be back with you all. We're in Genesis 4. So my last episode, I messed up and I put 4 through 17 instead of 4 through 16. Technically, we are starting on verse 17 today. So yeah, Genesis 4 through 17. I'm stoked to get in. Let's do it. Cain, so remember Cain, poopy Cain, Cain that killed his brother Abel, Cain that God was like, what have you done? And he kept creating a ruckus and he kept blaming people and all this stuff. So that Cain was intimate with his wife. And she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Ooh. Cain was building a city and he named the city after his son Enoch. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad was the father of Mehuel. I don't think I'm saying that right. Mehuel was the father of Methushael. Definitely didn't say that right. And Methushael was the father of Lamech. Lamech took 2 wives for himself. The name of the first was Adah, and the name of the second was Zillah. Adah gave birth to Jabal. He was the first of those who lived in tents and kept livestock. The name of his brother was Jubal. He was the first of all who play the harp and the flute. Ooh, interesting. Now Zillah also gave birth to Tubal Cain, who heated metal and shaped all kinds of tools made of bronze and iron. The sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. Okay, so this is interesting. This is interesting because what you see here is this whole lineage of people. You have, so remember Cain. Cain's not a good dude. Cain killed his brother Abel. Cain basically lied to God, saying, I don't know where my brother is, after God asked him, and Cain knew where he was because he killed him. So he's a liar, he's a murderer. He is someone that doesn't give like his whole, sorry, y'all, I'm still trying to figure out how to style this short hair. When, remember the whole offering thing, like Abel brought his whole heart to the Lord and brought a good offering to the Lord, and Cain brought like his little leftover pipsqueak to the Lord. So Cain is stingy, greedy, a murderer, and a liar. A liar, liar, pins on fire. Not a good dude. But what do you see the Lord do through someone like that? God in the lineage of Cain, so through the line of Cain, which also you have to think about at this time, the context, the historical context at this time, someone's family lineage meant a whole big deal. Like, who was in your family, the line of which you came from. Like, we are looking at a society that's continuing to build towards and has been built from this idea of like who you come from. And so from Cain, the lineage of Cain, comes all of these people that bring life to the world. You have people, it says, from Cain's lineage, so we're in 20, he was the first of those who lived in tents and kept livestock. And then you also have all of the people who play the harp and the flute. And then you have all these people that made heated metal and shaped all kinds of tools made of bronze and iron. So even from death and destruction, we see here God bringing out of torment and chaos and murder and all of this bad stuff something good. And that's the promise, right? And that's the good news here, and the good stuff here is that from the unforgivable, God forgives, sets boundaries, sets consequences, but forgives, and then creates life. God can create life from anything, not just nothing, which we see in Genesis. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and he said, let there be light, and there was light. Like literally the Big Bang Theory is God. God's the banger. It's like, bang, there was light. So even atheists who believe in the Big Bang Theory is like, you're believing in what God did. There has to be a banger for there to be the bang. But God can create something from nothing, that. God can also create something beautiful from something horrible. This beautiful lineage coming from this line of Cain, and Cain was a stinker, pooper, whooper, and you have all these awesome people coming from Cain. Also, slight shout out, I changed my podcast host name to Annie Mayfield Morlock, so that's kind of cool. I just noticed that for the first time. All right, so we are now in 23. Lamech, so remember Lamech is like Cain's great, 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 great grandson. Lamech said to his wives, Adah and Zillah, listen to me. You wives of Lamech, hear my words. I have killed a man for wounding me. So obviously killing runs in the line of Cain. A young man for hurting me. If Cain is to be avenged 7 times as much, then Lamech 77 times. I'll be honest, I don't know what that means. What does Genesis, like why is Lamech throwing a little hissy fit about this? I am super confused. And this is what you do, y'all, when you're confused about the Bible. Okay, so you look it up. Genesis 4, actually, let me just pause there because I think this is a really important point. I was thinking about this morning. There are so many times in the Bible, I'm literally like, why the heck is that mentioned? What are we even talking about? What it doesn't matter if you're confused or not. That's not the thing. It's not like God's like, you don't understand this, you're stupid. That's not it. It's, do you take the time to understand? Even Jesus, you see about this like in the New Testament when Jesus speaks in parables, the disciples literally are like, why do you talk like that? I'm confused. But what was different from the disciples and the rest of the people? The disciples stayed and they tried to understand. They said, explain that again in plain English. It's their version of like, let me throw this in Gemini really fast. It's like, but they had the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the Prince of Peace himself to sit there and like explain it to them. So when you don't understand something in the Bible, like I'm really confused why Lamech said that to his wives. That seems completely out of nowhere. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look into the commentary. Like, do that. Okay. Cool. So Genesis, when Lamech, so reminder, Lamech said to his wives, listen to me, you wives of Lamech, hear my words. I've killed a man for wounding me, a young man for hurting me. This is where I'm confused. If Cain is to be avenged 7 times as much, then Lamech 77 times. Okay, so this is why. Aha. Hold on, no. Okay. Interesting. Makes sense. So remember, basically what I just typed in was like, what does Genesis 4:23 through 24 mean? And then I typed in, what does it mean? What does it mean that God said they'll be avenged 7 times? So we read a couple passages ago when the Lord and Cain were speaking. And Cain was like, God was like, you killed your brother, so you're going to be homeless. And Cain was like, no, don't make me homeless. People are going to kill me. And then the Lord was like, okay, if anyone kills you, you will be avenged 7 times as much. So what's interesting is fast forward to 424, it says is if Cain is to be avenged 7 times as much, then Lamech 77 times. This is Lamech speaking. So what that means to be avenged is like if someone hurt Cain, then that person would experience 7 times the punishment from the Lord, which again goes back to God's character being so amazing. But I think what's interesting is what 23 through 24 is kind of doing is it's showing how cyclical vengeance and bitterness and resentment are, especially in family lineage. So here you see Cain portray vengeance and rottenness and bitterness and insecurity and fear and violence, a lot of pride, a lot of boasting. And you see all these generations later with Lamech. So remember, we read Lamech is literally like the great, 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 great grandson of Cain. So far down the line, and we see that vengeance, resentment, bitterness, it hasn't subsided. If anything, it's grown in the family lineage. And I think what the message is there is that, like a lot of us, we have generational strongholds on us. And what we give to our family and our future family and our kids and their kids and our future grandkids and great grandkids and great grandkids and great great kids, it's so much more than just genetics. It's like things in our heart, they pass on. Vengeance, resentment, bitterness, rottenness, violence, pride. That is something that can go down your family if it doesn't stop with you. And what we see here with Cain is that while he had the option for it to stop, because I think what the Lord knew is in his conversation with Cain, it wasn't just about Cain getting the lesson. It was about the fact that if Cain didn't and didn't really understand, it was going to affect generations to come. And I think that's where a lot of us are. Either we're the product of generational depression or anxiety or fear or OCD or anger or violence or abuse or whatever it is, financial harm or devastation, or we've created a lot of that in our lives and we're looking at maybe potentially bringing that to our children. And what I think what the Bible's showing here is it's not just about you. Like the way you live your life, the way that you have faith, the way that you choose good or bad, wrong or harm or beneficial life-giving things, like it's not just about you. It's about your families to come. It's about people and children you might never know the names of. Like for me, I don't know my great 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 grandmother. But what I do know is that if we're reading the Bible here, just as Cain's decisions affected Lamech, her decisions affected me, which is crazy because I don't even know her. But I think what a testament to us today in regards to how we live our life and the way we speak and the words we choose and what we eat and how we move and how we pray and how we fast and how we control ourselves and restrain ourselves and what we say yes to and what we say no to if we don't just think about ourselves. You know, it's funny when you get married, or excuse me, when you get engaged, everyone's like, when's the wedding? When's the wedding? And then you get married. And it's not yet, like, I mean, we just got married, so we're not getting this question yet, but Lord knows there will be a time that we're going to start getting the question, when are you guys going to have kids? When are you guys going to have kids? And it's funny because, like, a lot of my friends or some of my friends are starting to have kids now. And it's just interesting because there's always this next thing. But you know, I was just thinking about this. Like one of my friends we were at dinner with a while ago, she's pregnant now, and it's so exciting. But I was just like, man, how special is it probably to be living in a body now where you're not thinking about yourself, especially as someone that not my friend I'm speaking about, but just my mindset was like, wow, it probably like as someone myself who struggled a lot with like body dysmorphia and being fixated on my body and eating disorder or overeating and binge eating or over exercising, like what a precious honor it would be to be in a position where you're no longer thinking about yourself with your body. And I was thinking about this as I was with my friend who was pregnant, but then reading this, I realized pregnant or not, bearing children or not, having had children or not, having never had children, having siblings or not, having family or not, you play a role right now. The decisions you make right now do affect generations to come. And, you know, people you will never meet, it affects them. So how cool is this that in these two verses, 23 and 24, where I had no idea what it was talking about, by looking it up, we actually got an awesome freaking lesson from that, which is what you do now matters. I wonder if Cain, you know, because we're always blind to our crappiness, but we can spot it so easily in others. I wonder if God showed Cain Lamech's nastiness in the moment that Cain had the decision to be honest with God about what he did and seek forgiveness and seek retribution, if Cain would have acted differently, knowing that the decision Cain was about to make in that moment would affect whether like Lamech's heart and Lamech's posture all those years later. And I just, what a moment for us to take today into consideration. Do we reflect the character and the heart posture and the humility and the love and the tenderness and the gentleness and the meekness and the curiosity that we would want the people we love most to exhibit and to exude? Side note, but it's New Year's, so I'll mention this. I saw this really the other day. I thought it was really good. And it was like, imagine the person you love the very most in the entire world. And you would want them to like live forever. Like I think about my husband, or I think about my mom or my dad. Like I don't know what I would do if I lost them. I mean, I don't know what I would do. How would you want them treating their body, their mind, their skin, their social battery? How would you want them living that out this year? Knowing that you love them so much and you want them to live forever or as long as God will let them. Okay. Take that and do that for yourself because you are that for somebody. And it was just such a powerful lesson. And I think about this here. It's like, we're so quick again to judge other people. And we're also so quick to want to encourage people we love to do things that we're not holding ourselves accountable to because we want them to be healthy and them to be doing well and them to be crushing it at life. But we don't think about that for ourselves. And so here it's like, no, what you do matters. The decisions you make, choosing to love God with all your heart and stop being a martyr for your children and stop being a martyr. Well, okay, I'm always very careful not to give parenting advice because I'm not a parent. So let's retract that. I'll speak to my mom. I think something my mom did very well is she was not a martyr for us. She kept her health. She kept going. She had a life outside of us children. And I think what that did is it modeled for us what she wanted us to be. So I think like here, what we see with Lamech, it's like if Cain had modeled goodness, we wouldn't be in a position where Lamech would have inherited all these things that Cain was doing, the vengeance, the violence, etc. Okay. Let's finish chapter 4, shall we? 25. And Adam was intimate with his wife again, and she gave birth to a son. She named him Seth, saying, God has given me another child in place of Abel, because God killed him. And a son was also born to Seth, whom he named Enosh. At the time, people began to worship the Lord. Wow. This is really cool. Something that I think we all can relate to is that feeling of God being far and remembering how sweet it was when he felt close, but that feels like such a distant memory. You kind of lose hope that you'll ever get back there. And I just think about Adam and Eve. Like, think about this. It said, at that time, people began to worship the Lord. Think about Adam and Eve. They knew God. They walked with God before the fall. They were intimate with God before the fall. Imagine making a mistake, carrying that shame. We knew they felt shame because they knew they were naked. And they tried to hide. And seeing how your mistake impacted not just you, but your children and their children and their children's children and their children's children's children. Like right after Lamech gave this speech showing his deceit in his heart, like, I'm gonna be more avenged than Cain was. It's boasting, it's prideful. Like, it's almost like Lamech is this anchor of how far we've gotten from how it was supposed to be. And that's when Adam and Eve made love again. And that's when Seth was brought into this world. And that's when Seth, Jesus came from the lineage of Seth. So Adam and Eve had 3 sons: Abel, Cain, Seth. Cain killed Abel. Seth came after Lamech gave his little whiny. And then a son was born to Seth. At that time, why at that time? That's a good question. Why did people start worshiping the Lord again in Genesis 4? Dee-dee-dee-dee. Okay, this is cool. So essentially what Gemini was saying. But actually it lines up and it makes complete sense. So in 26 it said, at that time a son was also born to Seth, who he named Enosh. At that time people began to worship the Lord. A lot of times you don't know what's good for you until you experience what's not good for you, right? So Adam and Eve, they grew up in the Garden of Eden. Everything was amazing. It was pretty. It was powerful. It was peaceful. They were with the Lord. I mean, hello. I'm walking, I'm like cotton candy shoes, just like sweetness all around. And then they mess up. They're kicked out of the garden. And they see this havoc be reached across. I mean, one son of theirs kills their other son. Can you imagine that? And not only that, the descendants of the son that survived suck. Like, they suck with a capital S-U-C-K. Can you say that in a Christian podcast? I don't know, but they suck with an exclamation point. They are awful. And you see this lineage in Lamech, who just is the woe. And it's like, man, and then God brings forth Seth. And it's hope. And it's a chance at a new beginning. And I think, like, if anyone knows this, if you've ever messed up or if you've ever done something you're like, and someone gives you another chance, it's the best feeling in the world. And I think here what I gather from this is, at that time, people began to worship the Lord. You can't mistake your way out of an opportunity to worship God. And worshiping God isn't something we owe him or something he needs from us. It's something we do in response to his greatness, in response to the awe that we feel and that we can't handle because of how amazing and powerful and wonderful he is. It's not something like true worship. It's not something that it's like, okay, I've got to go to church. I've got to lift my hands and sing a song. It's like, no, you can't help it, because you're like, thank God for another chance. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have another chance. And that's what they're feeling here with Seth. It's another chance. We have a God who loves to give chances, And he is so in love with sitting with you as you go through life and make mistakes and navigate this relationship for it. In small group last night, and I'll end with this. In small group last night, we were talking about how your greatest challenge as a Christian in your walk with the Lord, it is not fear. It's not doubt. It's not anger. It's not violence. It's indifference. It's not caring enough to bring to God all of those things. What you saw with what you saw with Cain and Cain's descendants, they had no dialogue with the Lord. They had no conversations with God. Cain wandered the earth after his conversation with the Lord. It never says that they spoke again. C.S. Lewis has a quote, which is, pray for what is in you, not what ought to be in you. The biggest weapon you have against the enemy getting a foothold, against anger owning you and violence owning you and depression owning you and anxiety owning you. And I'm speaking as someone who's really struggled with anxiety and depression at times in her life. You can experience depression and it doesn't have to own you. And the difference is, do you talk to God about it? Do you invite him in on it? Do you say, I am so ticked off I'm in this situation, Lord. I'm so angry, God. I'm so sad, God. Like, do you invite him? Do you talk to him? Pray about what is in you, not what ought to be in you. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for loving us as you do. I pray that we continue to pray about what is in us, not what ought to be, because you love who we are. In Jesus' name, amen.